darkness of the afterlife is all that awaits you now. May you find more peace in that world than you found in this one.
My deepest condolences for you and your non-existent family, because it was over for you, son, before it even started. Just like these trees are dying right now, your life died before it even started. Let's look into it. The most brutal cases of this are the ones when you were just a light being floating around in the ether or whatever, and then universe, God, nature, the programmers of the simulation, they had a plan to put your ass into your father's ballsack. Then your father did the into your mama. Then 9 months later your mama went blumps, and your ass was into this world, this reality. And then your father and your mother look at your ugly ass and they said, just brutal. Your ancestors probably unconsciously went a little bit too far off from the natural laws that are in place in this reality. When you go against the laws, it will manifest into very bad things. And you are that bad thing. When your ancestors don't get the good food human beings need, the nutrition, they are exposed to the pollution, toxicity, willingly or unwillingly, those genes, that DNA, it starts to turn into shit. And you are now the physical manifestation of your ancestors' shit, basically. Now the awful things can manifest in many ways, and many times they come into package, like the good things. Like the Bible verse says, when you have abundance, you have a lot of good things, more good things will come to you. But when you got anything going on, everything else will leave also. There's nada for you. So, if it was over for you from the very beginning, there were many things probably pretty shitty for you. Your brains was like these berries, dumb as a rock or dumb as a berry. And these berries suck ass, you cannot even eat them. Just like you, nobody wanna kiss your ass, because not only are you dumb as a rock, your ass is also ugly. Kinda mongoloid look. You might even be malformed. And literally retarded. Diseased. Or prone to the diseases. So, it's a package deal. And your package is shit package. So, my condolences for you. Watch my coping video to get the most out of this life, if you wanna continue the life. But I understand it's gonna be tough for you. But check out the copes, they're pretty good. Congratulations if you made past this point. But the next point, this is when nature really starts to gather its victims. Welcome to the childhood, when many get very fucked up. As a little child, you don't have no knowledge about shit, this or that, you don't got any wisdom. You rely on other people. Those people are usually your parents. If you're a lucky one, then there are the increasing amount of children with only one parent. That can't be good. And then the misfortunate souls that don't got no parents. But anyway, let's say even if you got two parents, these two parents most likely are already damaged, traumatized, carrying a lot of baggage themselves. On top of that, they are stressed the fuck out by the modern society. They need to do one work, two work, three work. Pretty much need to have 3 motherfucking jobs these days to carry some food on the table. And let's talk about that food. As a child, you don't got no choices to make what you eat, what you put into your body. This is all up for your caretakers that hopefully are your parents. Most of the parents don't got any clue what is the real foods, the most nutritious foods to feed a growing child, how to feed that brain, that body of yours, that you would grow up as a strong, healthy human being. Most parents don't know any of that knowledge, so they're gonna feed your ass very bad quality food. And that food today is also full of toxicity, toxins, pollution, the water, the air also you breathe, that's gonna suck ass. And on top of that, the parents don't understand anything about medicine, and they can stab your poor little shoulders with bunch of medication that have side effects most likely. And all of these things, food, medication, water you drink as a child, how much you get breastfed, all of this can affect you rest of your life because you don't develop as a healthy, strong human being. Your development is stunted by your parents, and most cases this is unconsciously because your parents don't know any better. On top of that, your caretakers, your parents, if you have to, your parent or whoever is taking care of you might be damaged, like I said. That can lead to physical or mental abuse. This will be very traumatizing because as a children you don't got any knowledge how to deal with this shit, how to free this toxic negative energy out of your body or how to bounce it back. And there might be some horrific shit happening for you as a children, and I'm really sorry for you, because when that happens, it's pretty much over. Sober, you're gonna carry that rest of your life. And that's very unfortunate start for many children. And guess what? It's gonna get worse.
Alexander? Alexander? Hi! Oh, come here. Do you want to go see Daddy?
Your little ass is gonna get dropped off to kindergarten, school, these education camps built by Rockefellers. How many videos have you seen? Young children crying their eyes out when mommy or daddy are leaving them to this place where they start to get educated how this society works.
Andrew, are you excited for pre-kindergarten?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Are you gonna miss your mom?
No.
No? Oh, don't cry, are you?
And your parents or parent probably don't got it, no choice either, because they be working their asses off to get some low quality food on your table on their 3 jobs or whatever. So you get dropped off this place you don't know anything about. You don't get to choose who's gonna teach you the secrets of the modern society, the modern slavery. And this is the point of your development as a children, where you start to get all these ideas, this programming, hammered into your little adaptable brain and mind. On top of these camps, you have to spend majority of your day doing what they want you to do there. On top of that, these days we got these screens, these phones, these tablets that get access to the interwebs. Now obviously the parents may try control what can you access out there in the interwebs, but how well can they manage this? Kids are getting more tech savvy each day, spending less and less time in this place, playing around with their friends, because they're friends in the interwebs, and the interwebs is full of everything, and you can start getting exposed to very, very dark, horrific, tragic knowledge as a very young child. You can encounter all kinds of things in those screens you'll be looking at all freaking day, and this stuff can go really deep into your brain, because in the interwebs, not only consciously but subconsciously, certain things get seep into those little brains of children that are so adaptable, so open to ideas. And if those ideas you get from the screens or the people teaching you at the educational camps, or your parents, or whoever is taking care of you most of the day, if those ideas, those beliefs go a lot against the nature, if they go against it, you are gonna start off very badly as a young children, and most likely you're gonna carry, or at least fight, with this stuff that happens to you as a children, those ideas, that damage, that trauma. You're gonna fight with that shit probably rest of your life. So it was over for your little ass before it even started. You're real lucky if you made it this far without too much damage. But next up, we got teenage years, where the final blows are being punched into your stomach, into your genitals, into your heart, into your brain, and into your spirit. In the teenage years, the number one thing male and female bodies want is the opposite sex. Gay people doing their gay shit. Most of us, we want the other sex. What do we want? We want that love, we want that attraction, that touch, that sexy sex time. And what does that mean? We want to reproduce. But guess what? Reproducing as a teenager is real uncool. You could even call it demonized by the society, even though we're living in the wealthiest society that's ever been. If you live in the Western world, if you don't, you're probably doing way better, because you don't got all these bullshit ideas. You live more naturally. You might be a little poor or whatever, like if you don't got any food and you ugly and shit in the dirt world, I'm sorry for you. But we're living in this wealthiest civilization that's ever been in this Western world. We don't got the resources to have kids at young age. We have to focus on our careers, make that bread. We don't got that wealth to have kids, even though 100 years ago everybody was having 10 kids, 5 to 10 kids. But here, it's demonized to get children, what your body wants the most. As a teenager, You really need to avoid that shit. Focus on that career, that education. Go spend your time on those education camps. Get that knowledge, that Rockefeller knowledge, how to become a good slave. And don't fulfill your natural urges. What are your body screaming at this point? When everybody's their most attractive, the hormones are at their highest. Nature basically yelling on your ass. Go continue your bloodline. Go get it done now. This is the time. This is the best time ever for that. But no. We don't got the resources. You need to educate yourself. Go get the shiny things. Whatever the fuck. And even if you weren't completely brainwashed and still wanted to do that as a young adult, as a teenager, it probably wouldn't happen. Because the relationship game is cooked, boy. Now the first issue is obviously finding a partner that thinks the same kind of things. They wanna have kids. They wanna actually pair bond. That is so uncommon these days. And you actually feel attracted to this partner that wants to these same things. This is incredibly hard for a young people, males and females, to find this magical person that fulfills all these urges and needs of yours, and you can fulfill theirs. So that's the first problem, real pickle we have with these relationships. There's just no persons to be found anymore. Next up, I was talking about those screens that you start to see as a children nowadays. Back in my day, we started to see those as a teenagers. And what do children and teenagers find in the interwebs? It says these sites are for over 18-year-olds. Are you over 18 or not? Obviously, I'm over 18. Everybody answers that because they wanna see some perverted shit. You, your mother, your daddy, and your dead grandparents know how damaging corn is for human brain, human heart, human soul. Just look at the corn stars. Ever seen happy one that's calm and peaceful in their being, at ease of being? Ever seen one? Me neither. You can see the damage it does for the performers, and you can see the damage it does for everybody that watches it. We don't need any more scientific studies how it destroys your gray matter or whatever. We already know it scrambles the fuck out of your brain, your heart, your spirit. And lil homies at younger and younger age are being exposed to this perverted shit, and that starts to pervert their open, very adaptable brains, hearts and souls and bodies or whatever. And this obviously will manifest in all kinds of very bad things, in relationships, in sex. People start to become addicted to the pleasures of sex. They start to view the other sex differently. They start to view sex in general or love making. There's no love making when you start watching porn, bro. That's just pure hardcore sex then. So you start to see sex very differently. You forget what it is all about, and you want to start to have multiple different sexual partners. This is the next step after corn. What really fucks young people up. It's very hip and cool to have multiple different sexual experiences with different people. Just find what you like test around people a little bit. Test around tease pussy, dad dick, whatever. It's no big deal, it's not gonna harm anybody. Is that so? Back in the days, people would encounter the opposite sex in some nice dances or some community events in real life. There was no interwebs back then, you see. People were living in reality, or at least closer to it. You would meet this person you would find attractive in your close community. You guys would hit it off, do a couple cool dances, start speaking. Then you would maybe start doing some action. And there was no contraceptives destroying young people's health also. Contraceptives extremely bad, especially for females. Just add those to the long list of things that destroy young people. There were no condoms. There were no pulling out because it feels so good naturally to do the into her. And for her perspective, that's probably what she wants also, because it feels so good for her naturally. Then 9 months later, to be a little homie in the house that could bring a lot of meaning in this relationship. And those two people that did that all that, they would pair bond for life. How many people, older generation, you saw living together 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years? A lot. I know a lot of them. Maybe if you live in United States of America, things started to fuck up there a little bit earlier. But many other places in this realm, you could still see that. Like my grandparents, many of my parents' generation even, they were pair bonded to the life when they did that at very young age. And that's the key part that's missing in relationships these days. Everybody's fucking around and finding out that it is very traumatizing, very heart destroying, stabbing your own heart and stabbing other people's hearts. When you fuck around with multiple people, do you not think that feelings, love, get involved in that? And then what happens when the other one breaks or you break their hearts? That's a lot of baggage to carry under your next relationships. And more you have this, less pair bonding, less connection, less humanity there is. So yeah, the relationships are cooked also. So we got that shit freaking going on. Next up, if it wasn't bad, we have made a lot of more shitty ass things for human beings. Very cool. The hip thing to do at early age. Let's talk about, drugs. It's very cool to hang around with your homies and start doing drugs, because nothing makes sense. You get no fulfillment because you spend all your time in those education camps, and you start to sense the world is kinda fucked up. You kinda wanna escape, and also, as a young person, you're curious. Because many adults also do drugs. You're curious how that experience might be for your growing ass. Because drugs, especially alcohol, but these days there's so many more like MDMA, Molly, going to the festivals, doing Molly with your homies, freaking microdosing with all the shit you can find, all this freaking mushrooms and shit. Microdosing weed is coming incredibly popular, the cool thing to do. And what does all these drugs to the young people? Again, they destroy their growth, stunt their growth. They change the biochemistry of the young people. Many drugs make your brain, especially the psychoactive ones, like you can look at MK Ultra and all those CIA government programs. They use psychoactive substances to alter and hypnotize people in their programs, and what are being pushed to younger and younger folks. And all these drugs you do because you wanna be hip and cool and maybe attract the other sex, and you don't really be thinking about the long-term repercussions you're gonna have to deal with the rest of your life. You just do these drugs because YOLO, who gives a fuck? My friends are doing them also. And then you realize that your brain starts to be kind of fucked up at an early age. You got all these brain diseases, you cannot focus on anything. You realize you did a bunch of dumb shit that traumatized you as a young person for the rest of your life. You're carrying that damage. And you just realize that you make your body, your mind, your spirit a lot weaker than it could have been. You maybe only realize this 5, 10, 15, but it's coming earlier and earlier these days that you realize that you kinda fucked your body up. I'm starting to have all these problems with my gut, with my brain, with my emotions, with my physical state of being, diseases, all this shit, and now I cannot feel happy ass feelings anymore. Even though I'm out here in the nature. Like, you're gonna have to deal with all that shit when you start to get older and you have lost your youth, the power of youth. Also, you have lost your peak attraction at that point. And let's talk about that peak attraction, because that's a window in human beings' life. And more you go against the nature, more you do these drugs, more you take these medications that young people get, increasing amounts, more you eat that shitty ass garbage food that people eat these days, more you get toxins, pollutions into your body, the faster this physical attraction window closes on your ass. People are starting to become more degenerated at a lot younger ages. People are aging incredibly much these days when you look around with people, because people live so unnatural lives. They are destroying their bodies inside and out, and this will have physical manifestations, and you could say spiritual manifestations as well. Pick your poison, because with this poison you are putting in your body, your young teenage ass is gonna be so fucked up when you get into your 30s or even 40s that you don't know how to fix all this shit. Good luck. Now on top of this, all the adults in your environment, all your mentors that should be your mentors, are basically saying to go into this direction. Go in those education camps, get teached on whatever they want you to be teached on there, and the people teaching you there also pushing you in this direction. Focus on this matrix rat race society, because you gotta make that shitty ass bread on your table. Most young people really don't got any real mentors anymore that would say or advise them otherwise, would give them drop some knowledge or some real wisdom, because so many of the parents or adults or teachers at those education camps. There's good ones. There's definitely good ones out there. But they are lower amounts, decreasing amounts all the time. And that's kind of scary. And on the interwebs, all this, you can get sucked into so many rabbit holes that lead to nothing, lead to again meaningless, lead you away from the nature. And the things that are being pushed on in the interwebs are controlled by algorithms, and they can manipulate those to push certain kind of agendas, certain kind of ideas and beliefs again for children and young adults. But there's good shit out there, but it's just hard to find. And in real life mentors would be a lot better even, but those are even more rare, harder to find, depending where you spawn in this reality, what your situation is. But fingers crossed, you get lucky and you get some real life mentor that's gonna give you some wisdom about this life and put you on a good path. But that's basically it for this video. This is just the basics of the basics. How most people, either at the very birth or childhood or at teenage years, before they turn age of 20 maybe, before they become adults, they're already so damaged as a human being. They're so sucked into ideas and beliefs that repress their nature as a human being. They have done so many bad things for their body and their mind and their heart and their spirit already at such a young age that they need to carry for the rest of their lives. And that's gonna affect everything they do, every relationships they're gonna have. All of that shit is affected by the shit you did before you even turned 20. And it's getting worse and worse because worse and worse things are being pushed on human beings in this modern society. And it is becoming globalized as well because of these screens and the interwebs. So it ain't looking like that sun over there. It ain't looking very bright. Human beings ain't shining like they used to be. But if we wanna make a change, we first need to understand what the fuck is going on. What is throwing us away from our balance point? What is fucking us up left and right, down and up? Because we are being punched every which way we've been looking at, pretty much, and kicked in the balls at the same time, or grabbed by the pussy, or whatever. Anyways, there's that, the basics of the basics, why it never started for you. Let me know what other things you can come up with. Let's get some discussions going and go spend some time out here. See you on the next one.